Just before we get started here, I'm going to run a quick poll just to see kind of which version of GP everyone is using. Not to, I guess, preach to the choir, but we have a big change happening soon in April. So in April, I think it is 15th, anyone on GP 2015 or earlier is going to be on an unsupported version of GP. So I want to make sure that everybody knows if you're on GP 2015 or earlier, you either have to upgrade or move to GP 365. But hey, I'm biased, and some of you, that are on the latest version are already there. Appreciate that. Wow, it looks like a lot of you actually are on an old version. It's okay. Just letting a few last people here. You know what, I'm going to share the polls since it looks like 20 or 30 of you guys replied. Thank you. So as you can see, a lot of you are on an older version of GP. And the only thing to point out there is that after April, if you're on GP 2015, it's considered unsupported, which means they won't release tax updates. And if something happens with your GP instance, you won't be able to engage Microsoft. So let me know if you want to talk more about that after the session. Today's session is not about that, so I won't sidetrack us too much. But we have a special guest, Andrew. Thank you for joining. After
absolutely, thanks for having
difficulties.
me.
So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully, everything works nice and smooth. Okay, very good. So Andrew, I know you're going to do a bit more of an introduction in just a minute, but I wanted to take a second to introduce Sabrina, who has recently joined our team. And Sabrina is going to be helping us out with some of these events. She's going to be creating a lot of our content. So for those of you that frequent our blog area, she is going to be the mastermind behind all of that content. We're aiming to produce a GP blog every single week. We're also aiming to post all of our content and videos within the next day after they end, whereas when I was doing it, it took a while. So Sabrina, I don't know if your mic works, and if not, that's okay, but a big thank you and hello to you.
Thank you, John. So yeah, we actually have our first blog post going up today, and if you love it, please tell me, and if you hate it, please email John about it.
Yeah, there we go. I'm already getting emails about it. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so let's get going. We're a little bit behind time and we got a lot to cover. So with that, today we have Andrew from Jet Global. And for those of you who don't know Jet Global, they are one of the largest Dynamics GP ISV creators. So they make a really cool suite of products. I'm not going to do Andrew's introduction. I'll do mine and hand it over to Andrew to do his. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is John with GP 365. What we do is we take customers who have GP on premise. We allow you to move it into the Microsoft cloud so that you don't have to worry about upgrades, updates, technical support, and accessing GP is a much more modernized experience. So for those of you that are already on GP 365, big thumbs up to you guys. For those of you that would like a demo to see about moving your GP to the cloud, would love to do so. We're actually going to be doing a group demo pretty soon. For those of you that maybe want to find out what it is, but not have a one-on-one session, it's a great way to do that. So feel free to sign up on our events page. There's a lot there, but I think the demo is in a month or so. With that said, Andrew, I'm going to pass it over to you to do your intro.
All right, wonderful. So am I sharing my screen, John, or are we going to go through the slides on your end?
Yeah, we'll just do the slides here, and then I'll give you control.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, hey, thanks for having me. Like John said, my name is Andrew Pearson, over here from Jet Global. We're excited to be partners with GP 365. We think it's going to be an awesome marriage, and we're just really excited to get things, off the ground and running. So my role over here is a channel manager. What I do is I manage relationships with our Microsoft partners, and GP365 is going to be one of our best partners here, and we're excited to work with them. But yep, he mentioned it. We are a leading Dynamics GP reporting, analytics, and budgeting software company that we've been working with Microsoft for almost 19 years now. So that's a quick little peek into our company, and that's me and my role over here at Jet.
Awesome. Yeah, and just before I move on to the logo slide, which is cool, just to maybe set this up, for those of you that are currently using Management Reporter, it's not that, Jet Reports or what we're going to have a look at today has to, replace Management Reporter. In some cases, it definitely can, but it's often a complementary product. It's one of the most popular add-on products that organizations use for reporting. So we think that for those of you that haven't seen it before, you'll find it pretty cool. There is, quite a few other products out there like Power BI, and I know Andrew's going to talk a bit about that today. But together, you can really receive that complete marriage of products. And one of the great things about Jet Reports is it's really easy to use, which is something that not all of the tools in GP can say. So yeah, with that, maybe we'll keep rolling through some of your slides here.
Sure. Yeah, that's a really good point, John. Yeah, so this is what we call our NASCAR slide, right, in quotations. We love that we have a lot of companies underneath our umbrella. But really why I like to talk about this slide here is that, it really shows we're not vertical specific. We have companies in all different industries, logistics, supply chain, nonprofit, hospitality, so on and so forth. And what that really means is that, along with GP365, we're going to be able to support you, when it comes to your chart of accounts. There's really nothing our teams over here haven't seen. So that's really the main point of this slide is, we have a breadth of knowledge over here, and we're happy to help. Right here, we have a couple different reporting tools underneath the Jet Global Data Technologies solution suite. Okay, Jet Reports is going to be your direct connection to the database, right, to GP365. You're going to be pulling in information directly into Excel. Okay, so you're in a familiar environment, but you also have, alongside of Excel's operators, you have Jet operators to get to your data easily, be able to easily manipulate, the numbers and the data within the Excel spreadsheet, and really make these reports customized and flexible. Okay, I think a really cool piece here is that, John was talking about upgrading through GP. As you upgrade through GP, your reports are portable forever with Jet, right? Because of that, instant integration with Microsoft. With Management Reporter, he made a really good point. We are very, you can marry us alongside a Management Reporter. You can replace Management Reporter with a Jet, but it's really nice to not have to copy and paste. You're always working directly in Excel. And so you have that direct connection here with Jet Reports. All of your operational and financial data will be displayed and readily available to report from.
Nice. So yeah, Andrew, you just let me know when you want me to make you presenter. I figured maybe we'll go through your slides first to set things up, but then I'll hand it over to you for the preview.
Absolutely. Yeah, that makes complete sense. And then I can just walk through some examples for the crowd here and then go through the rest. But cool. Yeah, moving forward here, as you see on the screen, we have Jet Analytics as well. Okay, this is a full business intelligence and analytics suite built specifically for the dynamic space, so GP. Rather than reporting direct off your GP365 database, it's going to be reporting from a data warehouse and business intelligence cubes. Now, what that means is that you're going to have faster access to your data, right? No querying. It's going to be instant reporting. You can dashboard off of this. One thing that we like to mention a lot, and you don't have to use Power BI, but it's a really powerful front-end tool, right? A data visualization tool. And that's what we've seen the market starting to go towards, is wanting to visualize the data, interact with it more. So you can sit things like Power BI on top of the data warehouse and cubes, really, build out some awesome complex reports, both consuming it within Excel as well as Power BI. So I think the last piece on this one is we have a pre-built GP project that takes you about 80% project. When I say project, I mean data warehouse and cubes project. It takes you about 80 to 85% of the way there in terms of an analytics rollout. Okay, so you're reporting from one version of the truth here, and it just really allows you to get a little bit more in depth with your data, interact with it, slice and dice, and visualize the data with Jet Analytics. So moving here to the Jet Hub. This is a really cool piece here. You're building reports in Excel, right? You might have 10 operational reports, 50 financial reports, whatever it may be. You want in place for those to sit, right? So this is our online collaboration web portal, right? So when you finish building your reports, you can publish them up into the Jet Hub directly from Excel. It's really great for kind of keeping all of your reports in a central repository, right, in a folder structure. And then it allows easy access for those in the organization that need to either view the reports or run the reports, right? So you can run the reports directly from the Jet Hub wherever you are, smartphone, anywhere you have a web browser, right? So it kind of untethers you from the workstation. This is also where there's a dashboarding feature using Jet Analytics lives in the Jet Hub. And it's really nice for when you publish these reports up, you can also schedule them to run and distribute across the organization, at certain times. Either one report, batch reports to a single individual or an entire business unit. It's really up to you. That's pretty much about the Jet Hub there, and we can pop into that as well towards the end. But as we go through the reporting piece here, this is analytics. Okay, we were talking about Jet Reports. That's your direct connection to the database, right? GP's databases can be fairly complex. Most databases are a complex data model, right? So if you look here on the left-hand, far left rectangle, you'll notice it's a complex data model. Thousands of tables and fields, tons of data points that lie in those tables and fields, right? And so what we're doing with Jet Analytics is we're giving you a data warehouse in cubes. Okay, so it only brings in relevant data. Maybe rather than thousands of tables and fields, you have 7, 8, or 9. One for inventory, receivables, finance, sales, so on and so forth. Okay, it's organized by subject matter, and you can pull in data from multiple data sources. We take it one step farther with the business intelligence cubes all the way to the right for fully optimized data. You can see on the screen, it looks like a Rubik's Cube. And that's exactly what we're trying to create, right? We want you to be able to slice and dice your data, play around with it, right? Have pre-calculated outcomes on the back end. So it creates dimensionality to your data. And so the speed of reporting becomes exponential. All right.
Sweet.
Next slide here.
So I think that's actually the last.
Actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the last slide. So just before I pass control over to Andrew, if anybody has any questions or we lose you guys through this demo, let us know. We'll either come to the question, right away if we think that we can get to it without distracting the group too much. If not, we'll come to the questions at the end. There's quite a lot to show you, so we might have to hold things off until the end to make sure we have time to get through everything. But either way, feel free to write questions down and we'll come to them either at the end or after the session if need be. So with that, Andrew, clear your internet history. I'm about to make you presenter. I'm kidding.
Will do.
All right. So you should be good now.
Okay. Yep. Here we go. Thanks, John. All right. Can everyone see my screen okay, John? Can you see that? It should be an Excel spreadsheet.
Beautiful.
Perfect. And people who are reporting, your data sits in GP 365. You want to get it out, right? You want to be able to be in a familiar environment, report directly in Excel. And so that's really the big piece here. If you can notice up at the top, this is just a normal Excel instance, and Jet bolts right into the top here, okay? You have all of your regular Excel operators, and you also have this Jet Excel add-in with the Jet ribbon is what we call this. Okay, this is a design mode. You're going to have the ability to run and refresh the reports. So bring in, the most recent data. When I have data in this, I can drill down on all the numbers, get to the transactional level detail. These are just multiple different ways to be able to access your data, right? We want to make it, as flexible as possible. If the browser tool is not working for a certain report, maybe you can use a different tool, right? We just give you many, many different ways to access your data. Here's even more right here, okay? I was talking about the Jet Hub earlier. You're finished building your report in Excel. You've formatted it, make it look really nice, add your company logo. You can upload that directly into the hub from here. You can even open the hub from here. Here's a scheduler as well. So we have a scheduler that lives in the Jet Hub. We also have one built in here to batch reports, schedule them to run and distribute, okay? This is just some housekeeping here. These are just different connections I can make to different data sources. So this, you'll notice when I show an analytics example, right now we're going direct against GP, but we will be reporting from a data warehouse in Cubes when I switch that connection, okay? So I really wanted to show you the Jet ribbon here. I'm going to pop into a new sheet. In the interest of time, when we were having a little bit of technical difficulties there, I had built out the bones of a report, okay, so that we can kind of walk through this one. We're going to use this function up here. It's called the GL function. It's built specifically for GP's general ledger, okay? So it's going to give you a peek into the general ledger. These are some of the operators. You can tell this function, where do you want the data to come into your report? What are you looking for? What are you going to report from? What, balances, things like that. It's going to read in all of your accounts, as you can see in here. Start period, end period, you can add that as report options, so you can switch those around. Look at last quarter, last half, whatever it may be. If you're reporting from categories are going to be pulled in as well, okay? Same with all your segments, no matter how many segments you have. So what you'll notice here, I'm going to click on this cell, and I had already pulled in the account numbers, and I'll kind of click on the GL function, and it shows you what I did. So I told it to pull the data in across rows, right? I told it I want to retrieve an entire list of accounts, and then I cell referenced my segment 1 that I pulled in right here, okay? And so that's going to pull in all those accounts for my segment 1. Now, this next one, I'm going to open it up again. I brought in the names of the accounts, so the account names, and I tied it back to my account numbers. So I just cell referenced that, and you'll see that in just a moment. Okay, now we need balance information. Okay, I'm going to pop back into this general ledger function, and this is building an ad hoc report just from scratch, right? You just have to do this one time. What do I want to pull into this cell? I want to pull in some balance information. So I go balance for my accounts. I can cell reference these accounts that I want to pull the balances in for. And I want to do a start and end period. So what I can do is I hard coded in this date range, and I'm going to cell reference those and pull in the balance information. So you notice I pulled in the balances. I can, since I'm just in Excel, I can just use my regular Excel and pull that over, but I'll go back up to my general ledger function. Instead of balances, I want to do budget, okay? So I'll bring in budgeting information. If you have budgets to live in GP, you can access them. We also have a budgeting tool built for GP as well at Jet that you can use and pull in budgets from there. And I'm going to click OK, pulled in my budgeting information. And now just a quick little calculation here. Really good at subtracting. There we go. All right. And this is where you can format it up a little bit, right? I'm going to go up here. Maybe I'll do a little auto sum. Maybe I'll just add some dollar signs, whatever it may be. You can make this look nice and pretty, so that for when you schedule it to run and distribute, or it's, you're delivering a presentation with this, it can look nice. So I added my Jet Global logo there. All right. So we told the system, we told Jet Reports to go in and grab this data. And I was using GP's general ledger function right here, or Jet's general ledger function for GP to pull in all of that information. Now, what you'll notice is there's no numbers in here, right? Where are all my accounts? Well, you need to run the report. So I'm going to hit run. It's going to dive into GP. It's going to pull in all that information. And I had built a sheet replicator functionality into this at the beginning. What that means is that I didn't format it. Typically, I'll put hide here. You know what? I'll go back to my design real quick. It's as easy as this. I can hide my segment, and then I can hit fit and pull that over so it looks prettier. Okay, now we're going to run it. So it's diving in, it's grabbing all that data, and what you'll see displayed here is your segment 1 with all of your different accounts spit across the bottom with our sheet replicator. Okay, so this is your segment 1. All of your account names, balance, budget, variance information, and then you have your account numbers across the bottom here. Okay, so you can really tell it to do anything you want. You just have to, tell it to do that, and it'll pull it into your worksheet. Let's do a little bit of a drill down here. We're at the behest of Microsoft's demo data here, and they don't update it very often. So I'm going to drill into here, and you'll notice that there is some transactional detail, but it's not a ton. Okay, so it'll give you all of your, posting or account types and general ledger data that goes into the background. You can drill in one more time. There's no data in here, of course, but you can get into even more transactional detail. Okay, if you need to do some further analysis, you can export this back into Excel. All right, so that's a quick example of using just one functionality of Jet Reports to build out a variance report. Okay, So quickly, I have one that's already I built previous to this webinar, so that I could show pretty quickly here. What this is it's reporting off of categories, and we're going to pull in balance and budget information automatically. Okay, so say I built this. This is a template that I use. You can simply go up into my GL function again, and where do I want this data to come in? Into cell. I want that to come into a cell. What information do I want to pull in? I want to pull in balance information. As you notice, there's no numbers in there. So for start and end period, I can simply just cell reference those. End period. All right. And then we're reporting by category here. You have access to all your categories, so you can split it off any way you want. But in this case, this is a pre-built template. So I'm going to cell reference my category and lock that down. Click OK. It's going to give me my balance information. I can simply do this because in the background, it already knows exactly what data it needs to pull in for this category, right? Because I cell reference that, it's built into the back end. So if I just copy and paste, I'll copy and paste one more time. I can just drag it and all your numbers will come up. So it's pretty cool stuff there. Makes things much easier. So that's kind of the long and short of it. I could copy and paste and bring it all the way down. But that's using a template, you've built this out and you can bring in that information. Balance sheet is sitting right next to it. It's the same kind of idea, right? The logic is built into the back end already using Jet. What you can do, copy and paste here. And I can change these date ranges just like this. Let's start 2013. Oh, no data in there. 2014. 2015, 2016, so on and so forth. Okay, so the logic's built into the back end. That's sort of how you would use one of those templates that you can get off of our website, which is what I'll show you here. Okay, so you can download any of these templates. These are all for our customers, right? We have tons, financial statements, balance sheets, income statements, GL actual versus budget, dashboards, and we also have operational reports that you can download off of our website. You just connect your chart of accounts and whatever you're reporting from to these already built templates, and you're good to go. Because ultimately, these are Excel spreadsheets, consolidated profit and loss. And you can customize these and make them your own. They're just really nice because they're already kind of pretty looking and already formatted. Okay, so these are all readily available for download.
Can I throw one question at you? Give you a chance to catch your breath too. So I see a couple questions.
Absolutely. I know I'm going quickly here.
No, it's okay. One of them we'll hold off until the end, but this one just to maybe you can work into an example from Don. Could you provide an example of how much information can be seen when you drill into an account? I would normally be looking for all the transactions, GL, AP, and so on. Hey, Don, by the way. So yeah, that's the question. I don't know if you can show that easily or not in today's session, but if so, awesome.
So if I wanted to get into some information for the account you were asking, Don, so let me try here. Let's see if it's built in here. Crossing my fingers. You can get into some decent information from this one. Yeah, so I would have to build out a report specifically, and I'm not a report writer, so you'd have to build out a report specifically that pulls that information into the background, right? But you would have access to, all of your, think about it like this. If it's living in GP 365, you can use it, right? You can gain access to anything, and that's the flexibility of Jet in Excel. You can pull from anywhere in GP and build that into your report. Now I'm going to have to check for you, Don, and I'll get back to John about this, about drilling into an account within your report. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. So what we'll do here is I'm going to change my data source. If you can remember from the beginning, we talked about Jet Analytics. Okay. So I'm going to get back to my Jet ribbon. So those examples I was pulling, those were going directly against your database, GP, right? And so you're querying the database and you're telling Jet to pull in that information. That's really easy, but complex data models sometimes can create a bottleneck, right? Maybe everyone has to reach out to one person that knows your account structure. things like that, and it creates a bottleneck and not everyone can report. What we're trying to do here is make it as easy as possible to report. And so right now I'm going to change my data source to the demo cubes, and that's reporting off of the data warehouse in cubes using Jet Analytics, okay, with that pre-built GP project. Okay, so I'm going to change over to demo cubes, and bear in mind, we actually use our technology over here in-house. This is what we use to report every day, either finance, operations, sales. We use Jet Cubes here in our data warehouse in cubes. All right, but the best way to display this for a presentation is using a pivot table to pull up my cubes to report from and consume that data directly in Excel. Come on, pivot table. I think I've had like 75 worksheets open today, but here we go. So this is the pivot table by Jet. You can see the data sources demo cubes, and this is what I was talking about, where it cuts down your thousands of tables and fields to just a few cubes, right? Or maybe 8 cubes. Out of the box, you'll get finance, inventory, payables, purchase, receivables, sales. And you simply, if I'm on the sales team, I click into my sales cube. I know all of my relevant data is going to live in there. Okay, if I'm on the finance team, I need to do some financial statements. All my financial data would live in my finance cube. Okay, so rather than having to go out and pull from different tables and fields, it's all going to live in here. Okay, so for example's sake here, what I'm going to do is get into my sales cube. All right, I'm going to open that up. You'll notice my cube will pop up on the right-hand side. Okay, a cube is made up of measures and dimensions. Measures being numerical values such as profit percent, so on and so forth. And then I come down here to my dimensions. Okay, it's really simple, but it's really powerful stuff. You have things like location, posting dates, and this is a sales cube, remember? So item categories, things like that we're selling, salespeople on document. And that gives context to your numerical values up top here in your cube. All right, so I'm going to set the stage for an example. Say your sales leader runs in and she wants to see a really complex report in the next 20 minutes. I have a board meeting, right? Something crazy like that, hair on fire type situation. Well, using the data warehouse of cubes, you're able to do that. Maybe she wanted to see sales amount, profit percent, year over year, by location, by salesperson, split out by, whatever it may be. Because of all of this is in your data warehouse and cubes and ready to consume, you can simply just click on these data points and pull them into your report. Okay, so I picked some measures there that she wanted to see. I can come down here. And if I want to do year over year posting date, it's going to build this out in the hierarchy on the back end. So you can bring in all of that information by clicking that. Since this is a sales report, maybe we want to bring in the items that we're selling, right? So again, this is built in on the back end so that, it displays in your report. And you can drill in a little bit here. What kind of desk clocks do we sell? How are we doing? Maybe you want to see it by location though, because this doesn't give us that context, right? So I'm going to come down here to my location. I'm going to right click and add a slicer. This is where we can slice and dice it up a lot, like interact with your data a little bit more, maybe by year, and then we'll do by salesperson. Okay, so I'm going to split these out here. And again, this is ultimately an Excel spreadsheet. We're consuming this data in Excel. So you can, customize this as much as you want. You can add, anything that you want into here. It's really flexible. Maybe I want to insert a graph. Okay, it'll display the data in there. And let's just start playing around with this. Maybe we want to see just John Roberts numbers, for 2011, 2012, out of the New York warehouse, something like that. Okay, so it allows you to bring in really complex details, data points from a reporting perspective, and be able to kind of play around with it, right? Add these slicers on the go, and just really manipulate your data to make sense, right? You can gain key insights off of this type of data here. Trying to think here. That's the example of pulling off of one of your cubes if you're using Jet Analytics to report in Excel. Okay, we talked briefly. Let's see what time is it. We have a little bit of time here. What I'm going to do is kind of go through the Jet Hub, right? Because sharing reports across the company are super important, right? You need people to see these. Maybe they need to see them while they're in the airport traveling for work, things like that. I can simply upload this report, say this is all done, I'm finished. My sales leader's like, wow, how'd you get that done in 5 minutes? But I'm popping this up into my hub, and I'm going to open up my hub from here, okay? So when I save that up into my hub, it's going to ask me what folder I want to put it into or anything like that. And that's where you can name the report and put it into a folder. You can authenticate through Office 365. And this can, I'm just going to get in with my unique username and password. Okay, so once this loads, it'll be my landing page with the folder structure. And you'll see all the different reports that I've put up here. And bear in mind, I have my unique login, right? I'm not going to see the wider company's financials or anything like that. Maybe I'll only see the reports that were shared with me or the ones that I've built, okay? So here are the reports that I've built or that have been shared with me. You can run these reports. You can see these little play buttons. It'll run the report and pull in the most recent data. I'll pop into one of these. It gives you just a quick overview of what that report is, last uploaded, so on and so forth. Tells you who you're sharing this report with. The run history is pretty cool here. It allows you to have a visibility into the last time you ran the report, right? Make sure it's the most recent data. Version control management is one of my favorite features. You have your original version. I built this one in October of last year. And you can always get back to that original version. Reports are always evolving, right? People need to see different data. Maybe you need to bring in a new table or field, just change it up a little bit, customize it. They're always evolving, but you can always get back to your original in case something went wrong. Maybe someone messed with the report and it's not rendering correctly. You can always get back and find out what's going on. This last piece here is the scheduler. So I'm just gonna create a new task here and show you this workflow. You can tell it when you want it to go out. Typically, we don't want to do it every few minutes. That could get pretty daunting for someone. But weekly, maybe you want this to get sent out. You could, choose an actual date, the time of day you want it to be sent out. Maybe every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, this sales report gets sent out to the sales leaders across the country, something like that. Okay, so that's how that works for the scheduler. And that's really, I'll show you how to open it. So not only can you run this directly from the Jet Hub, but you can also open these up, right? So if I can open it up in Excel online, view it on my smartphone, things like that. And I can also download this back to my machine, okay? So it'll download it back to your machine and you can run the report out of your Excel instance like I was showing before, and you're off and running. One last thing in here, we talked about analytics and we talked about wanting to visualize the data a little bit better. So alongside of your income statements, your P&Ls that are built in Excel format, you can have data visuals as well, right? Sometimes people just want to have a quick peek into their into how their business is doing, and play around with some dials or something like that. Okay, so I'm going to open up. We built these dashboards just on the go. What you do is it's really the same format and workflow as building a report off of the cubes in Excel. You choose your measures and dimensions. In this case, you would choose a visual, your measure, and dimension. So here's a KPI tile. Cost of goods are skyrocketing. We're above budget. Maybe it turns red. Okay. I'm going to actually get into this one here. So we have different businesses. You can see how your businesses are doing, and it'll right size fit to your smartphone. You can drag it and move to the new visuals, and play around with it a little bit. But this is Jet dashboarding. Okay. So this comes with Jet Analytics if you're utilizing the Jet Hub here.
I'm a sucker
so that's
for
really cool.
Fancy dashboards and charts.
Yeah.
Just standing back in awe.
Exactly. And typically I would build some from scratch in Power BI. I think in the interest of time, we probably can't do that. But so we give these presentations a lot at Microsoft conferences, and one of them is how Jet Analytics powers Power BI. And we'll ask the entire audience who's heard of Power BI. Almost everyone raises their hand, right? You say who's used Power BI, and 4 people raise their hand. And then you say who's built a meaningful dashboard using Power BI direct off GP database, and maybe one hand goes up and it's a developer or something like that, right? It's just really hard to get to that data and visualize it if you're having a direct connection. If you're using the data warehouse in cubes, you can pull up that same cube that I pulled up in Excel to consume. You can access that directly in your Power BI here. As you can see, here is my cube. And if I drop this down, you have access to all of your data in here. So it's the same kind of thing. What you would do is pick your visual, right? You choose from your visuals. and then you pick your measures and dimensions, and it renders in the dashboard. So it's honestly as easy as that to build out pretty cool dashboards for the company. All right, so that's a balance sheet. Here's an income statement. These are downloaded off of our website. Okay, so you can actually use these as templates, but it's super easy to also build from scratch. And
Yeah,
John, I think I powered through that pretty quickly there.
Yeah, you did awesome, man. That was a lot of content really quickly. One of the things I was going to mention is I'm going to steal back control now, if you don't mind.
Sure,
Just
absolutely.
grab it here. So yeah, one of the things I was going to mention is like we covered a lot of stuff in a pretty small amount of time at a very high level. One of the items I think we're going to start doing is kind of more in-depth sessions. So, you know, if you guys would like to see kind of a deeper dive into, you know, what you can do specifically with, you know, Jet Reports or whatever the case may be, and you now have this kind of foundation of, you know, the art of the possible, let us know, because, you know, a big part of what drives our events is your feedback. So if you guys are looking to see a certain item or you want us to dive deeper into X or Y, let us know. We'll either cover it in one of our training sessions, or we can even do kind of like an all-day boot camp, which we do every month. So with that said, let's talk about pricing and costs. So hopefully, I'm just going to peek at my audience view here. Okay, cool. So money, everybody pay attention. So how much does this product cost? So there's two ways you can buy it. You can either buy it perpetually, so you pay a fee, and then ultimately, you know, you own the product, or you can pay a subscription fee, which, of course, like any other subscription fee, you know, gives you the product for a period of time. So Andrew has received a 10% discount for anyone who joined today's session. If you want to buy it perpetually, it's $4,995, and then your 10% off of that works out to $44.95.50 or so. And if you wanted to try Jet Reports for the 1 year, it would be $2,220 after your discount, $1,850, and all these prices are in Canadian. So if you guys are interested and you'd like us to maybe take a bit deeper of a dive with how you would like to use it, or you know, dive more into the specifics with your organization, let us know. My last slide is going to go over some of our future events and, of course, the giveaway. But before I do that, what I'd like to do is just throw up a poll to get an idea of which of you want us to reach out to you to either set up a one-on-one demo or dive deeper into your use case. So if you could let us know. You should have a poll up there now. Just give everybody a second to fill it out. It's awesome to see so many familiar faces on the session, by the way. Hey, Mike. Lots of familiar. Larry, Don, awesome. So many others that regularly join. So I'll take this opportunity to thank you guys all for your support. It's great to see you guys back every couple weeks and getting the most out of your GP installs. So fantastic. All right, let me close this off. Very good. We'll move on to questions too if we have any more, and we'll do the giveaway. So there's been a couple big changes with our events. The first thing is they've gotten really, really popular. So when we started doing these, you know, we were hoping that maybe 5 companies or something would join. Now most of them fill up. So we decided to start doing them more frequently because, you know, you guys seem to really get a lot out of them. So this is our calendar of what's happening over the next kind of couple months. First thing is we're doing a group GP365 demo. So for those of you that aren't already on GP365 or haven't seen it, you can join that session. We're also going to do a 1-hour webinar on supply chain. So if you're looking to use that functionality inside of GP, that's a great session for you to join. The agenda should all be posted on our events page. Smart List Designer, so it's kind of like an overview of what you can do, the art of the possible. And we've also started doing boot camps. So was it last month? My dates are escaping me. A few weeks ago, we did an all-day boot camp on Management Reporter from 9 a.m. to 5. And the goal was for anyone who joined that session, you would walk out of it with enough knowledge to make really awesome reports and, you know, do what you need to do with MR. So the feedback we got was It was awesome. Please do more of the boot camps. And hey, Sandy, I think I saw you on the session. I know you were at that boot camp. So we're going to start doing those boot camps every month or so. So that's going to be a really cool boot camp. It's $800 if you're not a GP365 customer. It's $400 if you are. And the other events are, of course, free. The year-end session is going to fill up, so make sure you join. We're going to show you a variety of tips on how to get the most out of GP around that critical year-end time. Some of you are probably saying, John, like, we just went through year-end. Why didn't you do it then? Sorry, but join and you'll have it for the next one. So with that, I'm going to have a quick look at the questions here. Don, you got awesome questions today. How many users can use Jet Reports with the price that was indicated?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I was gonna kind of circle back to that. So Don, great question. Those were foundation packages, and so what that means is both of those pricing schedules there include one designer license. That's someone who can design and build the reports like I was doing, and it comes with 5 viewer licenses. Okay, those are people who can have the Jet Excel add-in, but theirs is pared down a little bit, right? They're only going to be able to drill into the numbers and also to run those reports. So to bring in, to refresh the report. So you'll have one designer, 5 viewers, and access to the Jet Hub. Okay. You can add a la carte additional designers or viewers, and we can take a little bit of a deeper dive. John and I can get together and present those types of prices.
Very cool. Okay, with that said, let me just peek at the questions before I do the giveaway, see if there's any other ones. We got one more.
Sure.
From Jason. Jason, what are you doing on this session? Okay, can anybody open the Excel sheet, or do they need a special kind of license to access?
Yeah, great question too. So ultimately they're Excel spreadsheets, right? So, I was showing the Jet Hub, how you can publish those reports up there. That's just one way to do it. A lot of our customers love that because it consolidates all of your reports in one place, easy access right on the go. But ultimately, to get back to your question, they are Excel spreadsheets. So anyone can open the spreadsheet. You can build some security around it, right? You can lock down some rows and columns that live within the Excel spreadsheet because, again, it's an Excel spreadsheet. You're performing all of your customizations in there. So yes, you can lock down certain parts of the reports, but anyone can open it, right? If they don't have a viewer license, it'll just be an Excel spreadsheet that they can view the report, right? But they can't refresh it. Okay.
Awesomeness. Any last words, Andrew, before we wrap up?
I want to thank everyone for taking the time to have me talk at them for almost an hour and letting me show you the tool. John and your team, thanks so much for organizing this and having me on. Really looking forward to working with you all in 2020. Really exciting stuff here.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so the gift card winner is Michael A. So Michael, hopefully you're still on here. If not, I'll email you. I think you are. Yes, you're still here. So we will email you your Amazon gift card. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Please go join the events, gp365.ca. Reserve your seat. Really love the support you guys have for joining these sessions. And we'll talk to you guys very soon. And thanks again.